Hey everybody, welcome to the latest edition of the Diamond Discussion. I am your host, Demetrius Woods, and today I am going to give you my how-to guide on having the most effective off-season possible. So without further ado, let's get it started. Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 38. Listen, before I jump into this one, because this is going to be a quick one, I'm going to give you that how-to guide, and we're gonna dive into it into detail, I promise. And hopefully you can listen to this on just the car ride home from school or from practice or wherever it is that you may be heading from. But before I say that, I am absolutely pumped about next week's episode. So if I'm plugging anything right now, I'm plugging my guest for next week's episode. It's gonna you're not gonna want to miss that one. I'll say that. So anyway, with that being said, though, let's jump into this how-to guide. And the reason I wanted to share this is because there's a number of you are like, hey Demetrius, not all of us live in Georgia, and not all of us are playing school ball right now. Can you give us some off-season tips about how to really maximize our training, and maximize maybe just some steps, if you will, of how to be the best version of ourselves, obviously, while we're in the off season. So I wrote a couple of notes down, man. I wanted to be able to dive into these. Like I said, hopefully this is a 20-minute conversation max, but also hopefully you're going to get a lot out of it. And the first thing really to go over is really that concept of staying active, right? I know that's kind of a simple thing to say, but I know it's also very easy to sit on a couch that I'm sitting on right now, and you've got the TV in front of you, you got your phone, maybe you got your laptop, iPad, whatever it may be, and you're not doing much of anything like all the time. Okay, now nothing's wrong with sitting in front of the TV or being on the couch, but you don't want to spend your entire off season doing that. And so I think about ways to stay active that are not going to burn you out. I love the idea of doing some type of cross training. Now, not CrossFit, okay? Cross training where you're doing like some yoga or swimming or running or biking. Things like that where it's going to emphasize other parts of your body that maybe you don't get the full use of when you're playing softball, okay? And I know for sure that as a moderate swimmer myself, I would say that swimming is one of those things that works out a lot of the muscles in your body. I know I'm always incredibly hungry after I swim, so I know it's got to be doing something for sure. But yoga is one of those other things that I'm going to get into the mental aspect of this here further down the line. But like yoga is another one of those where I feel like really engages the body with the mind, and you can really fine tune yourself as well. So staying active is critical. Obviously, the opposite end of that is just to be a couch potato, and that can really do more harm than good. Like even if you're not being fully active, if you're going the complete polar opposite and being fully inactive, it's going to be hard to push that button, if you will, when the season comes back around. When it's like, all right, hey lads, let's get out here and let's do some running, let's do some stretching, let's do whatever. You're gonna feel like 5 or 6 years older than you already are because your body's just not activated. It's not ready to go. So I think that's a big one. The second one is some type of strength training. Okay, now again, none of what I'm saying is meant to say, hey, go bust your butt and blow the wheels off of your body, right? Not at all. Like off season is great for just fine tuning your body, and I'll get into the rest as well. But like again, strength training is important because you see it all the time, even at the pro level, believe it or not. Like I watch a lot of NBA basketball. I love professional basketball. I'm a big Steph Curry fan, as a lot of you probably already know that. But you look around the league, just and I'm picking on the NBA because I've seen it there the most. But like you look around the league, and the NBA court's 94 feet long, I believe, right? So you're doing a lot of running and gunning, right? You're turning, you're doing a bunch, okay, and you're doing that in spurts at a time. You're having to play defense, you're having to play offense, you're having to do all of the things there, and sometimes you notice guys in the preseason and probably even within the first 7 to 10 games in the regular season, some guys are physically not in shape. Like they look like they've got summer dad bods. No offense, all the dad bods out there, but to play a professional sport, you can't go out there with a dad bod. Not basketball, at least. Okay, and so because of same thing applies to our game though. Fast pitch softball and baseball, very difficult to go out there and be out of shape. And so again, if you're doing that, you're risking injury, honestly. Okay. And so what I would say is have a good little regimen that you can follow. Maybe it's a 15-minute workout, a 20 to 25-minute workout or something like that, where you're going to be able to increase your strength in areas that you may not be as strong in. Okay. So if you've been skipping leg day during the regular season or during school or things like that, like, okay, cool, let's focus on leg day in the off season. It's cool if we, have a little pain, right? 3-4 days a week for leg day because we don't have any ball to play. Okay, so I think that is a big important way that you can maximize your off season by focusing on the strength training aspects of things. Okay, the third one is what I would call skill development. Okay, I as a lot of you know, as a coach, I'm all about developing the player and making sure that they are ready for the next level, whatever that may be. Okay, so as a travel ball coach, sometimes we're just simply preparing them for their high school schedules. Okay, some players are preparing for the next level in terms of going to play college softball. Whatever it is that you're prepping for, though, your skill set is important, right? You can stay active in the off season. That's great for your overall well being in general. You can get the strength training done, which is phenomenal for making sure that you are fine tuning your muscles and putting yourself less at risk for injury, right? When you do return, but the skill development is also important because you can be the strongest person in the world, but if you can't field a softball, if you can't hit one, then our game's probably not for you, right? So again, those small skills, I think, I say small, those fundamentally important skills, right, that we would some of us deem as like elementary, such as taking BP or fielding a ground ball, taking some pop flies, those types of things, right? If you can take some time and do that, then again you're putting yourself in a good favorable situation when you return. And again, guys, this isn't an everyday activity. You can, if you're doing private lessons, keep doing those once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, or whatever, right? If you don't have the finances to go out and do some private lessons, go to Walmart or a store like it, find you a $10 or $12 tee, all right, get you some softballs, all right, and you can get those at at any pretty much any store like a Walmart as well. Okay, grab that tee, man, and go out and just hit, go hit, find an open field, find a batting cage, whatever, right? I know some of you had mentioned, I think, and I'm going to put this, I promise. I can't remember who it is, forgive me, but I'm going to put this in our open book segment in the future. But some of you had mentioned, like, okay, how do I ball on a budget, basically? And so I'll answer that question later. But again, that's one way you can do it, is that you can take your Christmas money, take your birthday money, or what have you, and you can go out for 40-50 bucks. If you've got a bat already, 40-50 bucks, man. You can get you a bucket of balls, get you a tee, and you can go hack. So anyway, skill development, guys, that's important. If you've got some opportunities to do some lessons with whether it's a paid trainer that you're working with or somebody that's just simply willing to volunteer their time with you to monitor what you're doing. Because here's the big thing, okay, that I'll say about skill development, especially in the off season. All right, if you are away from your coach, away from your teammates, a lot of times that means that you're having to trust your own judgment with what you're doing, right? And if you don't feel, or if you can't see it, if you're not videoing yourself or whatever, and nobody knows what you're doing, right? That's a good thing, right? In terms of, you just simply working in silence. But the flip side of that is making sure, though, that maybe somebody every now and then in the off season is getting a look at what you're doing, whether it be through video or in person. Because if you need to be making some small tweaks, right, somebody can help you with that. I think it's important. Okay, because you don't want to be developing a bad habit in the off season. You come back in the regular season, it's like, man, I've been putting all this work in. I spent some time working on myself, and now it's wrong, right? So you don't want that to be the case. So I would say at least get some eyes on you in the off season as well, so that you're ready to go. All right. The fourth thing that I would say is as I alluded to earlier, is that mental preparation. Okay. So, and this is such a large part of our game, and so I'm never one to sweep this under the rug at all, because I think it really just simply needs to be right in your face, in the forefront. Okay, because mental preparation is something that can really drive your game to the next level. Like, because here's the reality: your confidence in who you are, and what you can do at this level that you're at right now, that can really spur you on to whatever level you're aspiring to be at. And so one of the ways I love to, zero in on our mental preparation is just simply by reading, right? Reading, listening to podcasts like this, hopefully, and others, bigger and better ones, right? That really dive into the personal growth. And I know it's coming, right? There's going to be a show where I just, really go right into mental preparation. I dig really deep into it, and we get real personal real fast, and I'm excited about that. But I think for now, surface level wise, take a listen at some books, right? Or just listen. We can all Google everything, right? Google top 10 books on personal growth, or Google top 10 books on mental preparation for athletes, right? And just see what pops up. And you know what? If there's a book out there, maybe it's free already on Amazon Audible, or Apple Books, or wherever it is that you get your content from. That's a great place to start. And if you don't have any, again, back to finances. If you don't have the finances to actually buy a physical book at the local library or online or whatever, listen. There's so many articles out there that people have written, and given their you know educated opinion on what it looks like to have strong mental preparation as an athlete. So just Google the articles out there. There's tons, I'm sure, amongst all the search engines that will provide you some good material. The big thing though is just taking the time to read it. And then when you read it, you begin to apply it, right? So I think that's a huge thing. The fifth thing that I would say, and I think I've got 7 or 8 of these, but the fifth thing is your nutrition. Okay, guys, what you do in the kitchen can can never be underestimated. All right, when it comes to staying active, great. Strength training, great. Doing skill set development, all of that stuff is great stuff, right? But if you are just going raiding the cabinet with Doritos and cookies, and all sorts of things that really aren't that good for you, right? You're really counteracting what you're doing at the gym, all right, and by staying active in general. Okay. And so what I would say on that front is not that you need to be on this really strict diet, and not that you can't have the Doritos and cookies from time to time either. However, what I would say on that front is that it's a good idea to limit those types of foods. I'll just say that. Okay. So, again, and I know some of you, are wanting a specific, nutritional diet. And I would say just continue to message me. I know I've sent back ideas to some of you, which is hopefully it's been helping thus far, but even if it's not from me, or, you get it from a trainer, the trainer at the school, or maybe even hit up your athletic directors, other coaches right there in the schools that you have access to immediately, that can help you with figuring out the best possible nutrition for you and your body, and the way that you move in the sports that you may play. So again, nutrition, guys, though, seriously, it's a big one, and really focus on that, right? Like, tell mom and dad, listen, fast food, we got to keep that thing to a minimum, please. Right? Like, that's just an overall problem in America in general. I don't know how it is in other countries. So some of our listeners, maybe if you can clue me in on that up in Canada, or Italy, or I know we've got some guests who listen to the show from around the globe. So And let me know, like, what is that like in y'all's countries as well, in terms of, just obesity and just health issues and things like that that come from, directly come from fast food. So again, and not poo poo in the fast food industry, because it serves a purpose. But for athletes in general, it's not a way to go every day or even the majority of your day. So I would say stay away from that. The other piece to that is the rest and recovery. And the rest is self-explanatory, right? You've got to get good sleep. Like if you are just working off of 3 hours a day, uh, all the time, that's not good for the body. If you're working off of only, if you're working on a full 12 hours of sleep every single day, also not really good for the body, right? So somewhere between that 5 to 9 hour range, I believe is a healthy place to operate, because you want to maximize your days, right? If you're sleeping half the day, you're sleeping half your life away. That's really probably not being a productive individual, whether you're an adult or a teenager or what have you. Uh, Probably not good. Okay, so you want to be able to find that balance with your body, and making sure that, now again, if you have that 10 or 12 hour day of sleep because you've just been going, nothing wrong with that, right? But if you're averaging 12 hours a day every day all the time, probably we need to get up and do something. Okay, so that's the rest side of things. But the recovery, so rest and recovery is good, because you need to be mixing in the heat, right? Whether it's on your back or whatever may be ailing you potentially. Okay, the ice baths. Again, just staying off of your feet at times when you're saying, hey, listen, I am going to be intentional about being on the couch today, right? And trying not to do much of anything. And it's good to have your body have those days, have that opportunity to have those days, rather, to recover from whatever activities you may be involved in. So that's great in the off season. Um, I don't know how to put this other than I would say watch and learn. All right. So watch and learn, and what I mean by that is, guys, turn on YouTube, turn on whatever access you have to TV and old video clips of people playing our game, because you can go to YouTube right now and find full 2 hour segmented games of old, right? You can watch some of the old College World Series games. You can watch some of the old regular season games, and just watch how people move, watch how they play the game. When they put the camera on somebody who plays your position or something close to it, watch how they're moving on certain plays, right? I mean, again, guys, there's so much good talent out there that we get an opportunity to have immediate access on, right? So and I know this is hard to imagine this day and age, right? And I can't even say that I was a person who didn't have this opportunity either, because I wasn't. But as a millennial, I had access to technology as well. Okay, and so this generation right now is also, you guys are just completely blessed, right? Just like I was, with immediate access to any video that you want to get your hands on. Okay, all you got to do is just type in, a couple of keywords, and you're gonna get a full, you know, scroll basically of things that you get an opportunity to watch. So again, my you know our parents' generations and so on and so forth, the grandparents and all, like, they didn't have that access. And so for us, I think we have to maximize that opportunity and use it to your advantage, because guess what, the young lady or young man who's trying to go the same place that you're trying to go to, they're probably taking advantage of that, right? So any little edge that you can find to be able to maximize your game, that's where you want to be. Okay, that's you want to keep yourself in the driver's seat with everything that you do. And if that's just simply watching highlights on YouTube for a day while you're resting and recovering, but you're also watching, instead of watching SpongeBob or TikToks on random funny videos, you're taking half an hour to an hour or two even of watching a full game of softball, of players who are playing it at the highest level. And hey, guess what? Why not message them on Instagram? Why not message them on Facebook? They may not respond, but you say, hey, listen, random person who I don't know, right? Why not? Why not? Why not reach out to them and go, hey, listen, I just watched your game from when you played such and such back in whatever day, and I saw you make a play, and I just have a question about that, right? Guys, listen, as big as our world is, and it is a big one, it's huge, right? It's also not that big either. Okay, and when I say that because of technology. Technology is, and I getting off on a tangent here, I guess, but in the watching and learning part of it, right? There's also the, understanding beyond that. So you watched a video, maybe you learned a little bit by watching it as well, but why not reach out to that individual and go, hey, listen, what were you thinking in that moment, right? Or can you give me some understanding on what that looks like? And so again, as big and famous as people may be, you never know. They may reach back out because it's a young fan or it's a young person trying to go to the next level, and they may be willing to help out in some kind of way. So again, watch, learn, apply it, reach out, get the understanding, all of that, put all of that stuff together. And then the last thing that I have for you guys is to set some type of goals for yourself in this upcoming season, because here's the thing, if you're not setting goals for yourself and giving yourself an opportunity to say, hey, listen, if I hit this benchmark or if I hit this target, then this is where I'm going to be. You want to be able to have some targets along the way as you go, so that you can feel good about what you're doing, right? And you know what? Listen, if you don't hit those targets, that's also part of it. But you want to be able to measure your progress. All right. Here's the last thing on that front, though, and I'll be brief about the goal setting. Please set attainable goals. Okay. If you set goals that are way beyond the scope of the imagination, right? If you've never hit a home run before in your life and you come out and you set a goal of hitting 60 home runs this year, well, that may not be as attainable, okay? Unless you just did some crazy work and you just, you found something that clicks for you and now you're a machine all of a sudden, okay? But in one single off season, I don't think you're going to go from 0 to 60, right? But you can go from 0 to 5, 0 to 10, 0 to 15 with some tweaks, right? Maybe it's not the home run goal. Maybe it's the stolen base goal, right? Maybe it's the fielding percentage goal. You know what? Last year, I fielded about 85% of the balls that came to me clean, right? I want to bump that up to 90, 95%. That's a great goal to have. Seriously, right? And that may not sound as, you know, sexy as the home run goal, but my goodness, just imagine getting 10% better, or 10 percentage points better in your fielding percentage. That's awesome. So again, guys, set goals and set attainable ones that you can achieve, that you can reach, that you can measure progress along the way throughout your season. And again, ultimately, you can look back on and say, hey, listen, here's the goal that I set for myself, right? Here's where I am at the halfway point. Here's where I am at the end of the season. And guess what? If you don't hit those goals, reset them. Reset them and go again. So, guys, here's the thing. I love this game a lot. And I love this game so much so that everybody involved in it, I know that I become immediate fan, because it's a game that is growing so much, and it's a game that deserves so much love and so much attention and so much admiration. So if you're watching this show, kudos to you for diving into our game. If you're new to the show, welcome. And if you're somebody who really needs more than what I just gave you, on this car ride home or wherever you may be heading right now, or wherever you may be at this moment. Okay. If you need more than that, reach out to our Instagram handle or our TikTok handle or even on Facebook, because I will gladly give you as much advice, much details as I possibly can. I'm sure you can find my phone number on there somewhere as well. So anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this show up real briefly here with a thought you should know moment. And my thought you should know moment, guys, is just very simple. Okay. And it's actually that. It's to keep it simple. And funny enough, my next guest on the show next week, we're going to talk about keeping it simple as well. But what I mean by keep it simple, guys, especially as it pertains to your off season, is that don't overdo it. Don't feel like you gotta, come up with this off the cuff or, crazy complex game plan of how to go about your off season. Take these 7 or 8 things that I just shared with you, apply them very simply, and then run with it. So anyway, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this show. I'm going to wrap this up like we always do. So please, let absolutely everything you do be done in love. Because at the end of the day, that is truly what makes this world go round. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.